Good day, everyone.
Good day.
I'm Tim,
And I'm Casey.
and we're back again for another episode of Transcending Consciousness. For this episode, we will tackle on the issue of racism.
Lately, there's a lot of hate against Asian people. And then just a few months ago, we heard the story about the police killing some black people in America. So now we hope to address this issue. How can we resolve racism in the world? Okay, so what are your thoughts on this?
As we know, the idea is to promote the concept that all life is equal. But for many people, this remains simply an idea and we do not internalize it. Hence, we have all this prejudice, we have this racism, and the belief that you are superior to another race. This superiority complex is one of the reasons why we have wars, we have all these misunderstandings, and why we have violence that defends that one race is superior to all or one belief system is superior, when in fact this is not the case.
Yes, as we have been telling previously, because of our limited perception, we see ourselves as separate from each other. So out of that mindset, since we are immersed in that kind of mindset, the separation mindset, we think that the empty space between us has nothing between it. So that is not the case, because our thoughts, our energy vibration, they occupy the space in between us. So we are actually connected through this energy, the unseen energy. So out of this mindset of separation, we now start to compare each other. Tim is thinner than me, or something like that, or I'm taller, or I'm sometimes the more dangerous mindset. I'm better than him because I have higher grades, or something like that. So from that mindset, we should actually change that mindset and see that we are all connected. Okay, and we should also remember the spiritual laws, like what we have been telling, the law of cause and effect. Because what we do unto others, we are actually doing it unto ourselves. So in the long run, we are also hurting ourselves when we try to hurt other people.
Remember that racism is not limited to the example of the white people having prejudice against the blacks or the Asians. What are the examples here in the Philippines? So I'll give you an example. I'm a Chinese, and many of the Filipino Chinese community would feel that they are superior to the Filipino people. Because most of the Chinese have businesses, they're better equipped with money, with power, and sometimes there's this view that the Chinese people are superior than the Filipinos. And in my family, there's still this mindset present, and you can see, some of the Chinese parents would tell their children that you should take also another Filipino Chinese as your spouse and not a Filipino, because they might just be there for your money and those things. So that's also an example of racism. So that is feeling that a race, which in this case are the Chinese, is superior to the Filipino, which should not be the case.
So you see, guys, do you see the law of cause and effect applying in our lives? Because in general, the Chinese view themselves as superior than other Asian countries or other Asian races. They are now being, other race. For example, in the U.S., they are now being targeted with the racism, with the hate crime. A lot of Asians are being attacked right now, and some of them are also Filipinos because they view the white people, they view Asians as a threat to their livelihood or to their, for example, their source of income, because they feel that they will get their jobs or something like that. So they are now attacking the Asians. So because of that mentality, so you see, so in order to stop racism, we must begin, as we have been telling in our previous episodes, we must begin within ourselves and see if we have that kind of mentality also.
Yeah, so all change would start with ourselves, because it's better to, we look at the beam in our own eye before the mote in another's, because this is how we grow. And if we can set an example for others, then this will change. So I, for one, have grown out with, those prejudice against Filipino, but I now realize that, it doesn't matter whether you're a Filipino, whether you are Chinese, we are all one here. And it's not to say that all white people, have prejudice for blacks or the colored races, just a significant amount. I have known friends who are, Caucasian, who actually imbibe in their being that everything is equal. But a significant proportion of the white population, the Caucasian population, feel that they are superior. They feel that they are the colonial masters. It's because in the past they have been always superior. They have conquered the lands. They have amassed so much riches from all these colored races, and because of that, now in the modern age, this should not be the case. There should be equal opportunity for all, and race is not a reason for prejudice. If we look at how let's look at how the Black Lives Matter movement came about. So it came about initially because we have this policeman who killed brutally this black person. So it's really not right, and it's actually became the tipping point that resulted to this outrage by the blacks. And the problem is the blacks have also this, they're not very balanced, and in order to retaliate, they vandalized, they destroyed structures, statues, and the like. But why is it so? Why is it like that? We know that slavery was abolished several hundred years ago, but the prejudice remains in the system in the US. We have this soft laws in place where in the locality where black people live have fewer opportunities than the white communities. And in profiling criminals, they would, all things equal, they would think that the black person did this than the white person. And this is why the blacks have so much outrage, because they kept it for themselves in the collective consciousness of the black people in America. This fear, because they know that they are being prejudiced. Even in the American laws, all people are equal, but it is not being done. In truth, they are being prejudiced. They're not being treated as equal. And because of this, they have all this frustration. And once it reached the tipping point, which is this Black Lives movement, they unleash all that anger in the collective consciousness, which is not the highest expression, but it is an understandable expression. But it is our hope that with this expression and the revealing the truth that in reality America does not treat white, black, colored people equally, then we could address this problem, talk about it, and make up solutions.
In our culture, the Filipino culture, yeah, most of us value, having a white skin. A lot of Filipinos want to have fair skin. So yeah, subconsciously they think that having a white skin, a fairer skin, is actually you becoming more beautiful. But you see, that is not the case. As we have told many times, all skin are equal. Okay. Where did that standard come from? There's nothing. No? God did not place any standard or any set of stones saying that the level of skin color, which is better. So we all created that illusion. Okay, so it's about time, for us to break our illusions of skin color supremacy. Because yes, we are all equal. In each race, there are good and bad people. But of course, mostly there are a lot of good people in each race. And all of us, we have all equal opportunities to rise higher in our lives. For example, Black people or Asians, if you work harder, things will be better for you. So it's not, we should not depend on violence to improve our lives or something like that. So we should all, with hard work, I'm sure, we can raise our lives better. Okay. So yes, maybe education also is very important. That we should reintroduce the spiritual laws in place, no matter what color we are or what position we have in life. Those laws will affect all of us. If we do not, if we disqualify those laws, or if we do not follow those laws, we will be affected. It will come back to us.
Yeah, so for the Filipino people, we know that we have that colonial mentality, and the problem is we are actually prejudiced towards our fellow Filipinos and place all these white people in high regard. This should also change, because these white people, the Caucasians, they are not something that is superior than us. They are equal with us. And I do hope that Filipinos will treat Filipinos better and not be prejudiced against their own family.
So yeah, guys, also remember, okay, what we have been telling. We should raise our mindset, our consciousness from this mindset of separation, and we must actually try to experience and see that we are connected from each other, from all of us, from life itself, and even with God. So once we have trained ourselves to remove that mentality and reach for a higher mentality, the mindset of union, oneness, then our behavioral patterns will change. And once we have changed our behavioral patterns, then others, we will experience the effect of the change in us. And then slowly, we will inspire others to do the same. And we will treat each other with respect. And more good things will come to us. So yes, that's one of our take-home message for this episode.
That's it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in, and see you again in another episode.